Hey, what is good everyone, Chris here, welcome back to the channel, and today we're talking about a different stuff. Today it's a Fujifilm talk, and if you have a little bit of a time on your hands, please grab a coffee and sit with me. So let's talk about improvements and what Fujifilm can do better to improve their equipment. Now that I'm shooting Fujifilm for more than 6-7 months, I think I know what I need and what can be improved, and not necessarily that I need something, but I think that some things that Fujifilm should put together and put it together a little bit better. Okay, so like I said, today it's about improvements, about Fujifilm. So we're talking about lenses and cameras and what I think it's gonna work well with us, the end users, the pro photographers, the amateur photographers, the intermediate photographers. Nonetheless, Fujifilm should go ahead and listen to all these videos because this one is a little bit different. And please stay with me, subscribe to the channel if you didn't already, hit that notification bell and share these videos with your friends, and let's start the video. So first thing that I am a little bit torn when it comes to Fujifilm, and thing that it bothers me as a content creator, a YouTube creator, is the fact that the Fujifilm cameras are released to be specifically aimed towards photographers or videographers, at least lately. And though they have particular aims, I think that they are not fully developed to be what they are. And what I'm saying that is the autofocus. That is what I'm thinking of. And I think that some of you will share this thought with me, because when we're shooting photography and videography all together on the same level, and we're trying to create more than just a simple photo, the autofocus comes into play. So I believe that Fujifilm should continue this path and create different cameras for different shooters, photography, videography, hybrid shooters, and so on and so forth. Well, the autofocus is the first thing that I'm thinking about improving, and it's a little bit cumbersome to at least be like me, one-man crew, and create videos for YouTube and also shoot photos because you're a photographer, and not shoot photos for YouTube because I'm not doing that just because I'm a YouTuber. I'm doing it as a job. This is my trade. This is how I put a meal on the table every day. At least I used to when that was possible. But now if you're trying to shoot yourself like I'm doing right now, even if you have a monitor and you look into it, you realize that Fujifilm has a little bit of a autofocus problem, even when you're choosing to use face detection and eye detection autofocus. There is still a little bit of a bounce in the background, and you probably noticed in my videos because I'm shooting all of them on my X-T3, and I don't regret that because the colors are amazing, the rendition is amazing. Shooting in f-log and being able to shoot a 4:2 or a 4:20, depends on what you're shooting, it's great, and the leeway on editing, it's amazing. But the autofocus, it's not perfect, and I think that's the first thing that Fujifilm should think about. Improve the autofocus and make it reliable for everyone. Though I know that some videographers, not some, probably most of them, are shooting on manual focus and are enjoying it, shooting Fujifilm because of the colors. But for those of us who need that autofocus and you need to be reliable, and there are many out there, I think that is something to think about. I'm not sure if that can be improved in a firmware update. Maybe it can. Maybe they should come up with something even more powerful and compete with all these full frame cameras like Sony or Canon, and create that lock-on focus on your face or on your eye every time you're shooting yourself, especially on a shorter distance that I'm shooting right now. The camera is probably 3 feet away from me, and it's still bounced a little bit. Now I'm only using face detection, not the eye detection, because for some reason it was grabbing something behind me on one of the shelves. I kind of moved things around just to have that reliable autofocus and not bounce all the way on my videos. So yeah, that is my first thing that I believe Fujifilm should improve. Put your comments in the box down below and let me know what you think about the autofocus and all the points that I'm gonna make today. And let's start the conversation. Now, going to the second one, I believe that Fujifilm lenses are one of the most amazing quality lenses on the market, starting with the lower priced ones that are aimed towards everyone, up to the red badged lenses like the 50 to 140 f2.8 right here, or the 23mm f1.4, and so on and so forth. All of them have amazing quality, and I am super happy with these lenses. The only thing that I believe that it should be improved is a new update, a new lens, Mark II, a new version of these lenses that will improve the autofocus. They'll also improve the quality of the glass, and maybe they can improve a little bit in chromatic aberrations and distortion and all that. I believe that the technology evolves every year, every day actually, and those technologies are available to Fujifilm, so why not just start improving the lenses? This thing is a path that Fujifilm is on lately, and they come up with the 50mm f1.1. Also, they're gonna come up with the 27mm f2.8 version 2, which I believe is gonna be a better lens in terms of autofocus. I'm not sure if anything else needs to be improved because this lens is great the way it is. The autofocus is a bit slower, but that's all. But if you can come up with lenses that have a better autofocus improvement and that feels more reliable, that would be great. Now, because we're talking about lenses, the third point that I want to make is the fact that Fujifilm has a huge lineup of lenses. Most of them are f2 lenses of f1.4. There are a few exceptions like the 56mm f1.2 as well as the 50mm f1.1 that just came up a week or so ago. So if they can improve the aperture a little bit and come up with more 1.2 or 1.0 lenses, that will be great. We're all shooting APS-C sensors and we appreciate these sensors. I do. I hope that you guys do as well. The colors, like I said, the sharpness, the rendition of these lenses is beautiful, but a little bit of a bokeh, a little bit more soft, behind your subject will make your photos pop a little bit more, and I think Fujifilm is thinking about that. I'm hoping that they will, because a 23 1.2 or a 35 1.2 as well as a maybe 56 f1.0, though the 50 is already there, I think that will be amazing. And maybe they can slow down and come up with faster aperture on zoom lenses as well. How about a 50 to 140 f2? That will be a great lens if they can retain the quality on the 50 to 140 f2.8 that we all use when it comes to weddings and portraits, sports, and everything else. Next one that I think it's a little bit debatable, it's the fact that the OVF on some cameras is useless. Not because the OVF it's not a nice feature, it's because the OVF it's actually unusable when you're using different lenses. For example, on my X Pro 3 and the 23mm f1.4, which is an amazing pair, it's very hard to use the OVF. The lens it's a bit chunkier and it takes more than half of your view when you're switching to OVF, and you won't be able to focus and actually view your frame only if you're using that small electronic viewfinder in the corner of your OVF. I would love to shoot analog like my Fujifilm old cameras, old film cameras, or my Minolta cameras. That is a thing, and it is very nice when you're shooting in low light and you're able to see the frame, you're able to see what you're shooting. So if you're continuing with the OVF, please try to improve something with it. Maybe move it a little bit to the left or do something, because other than that, OVF it's pretty much unusable. I would love to use the OVF all the time. I would really do, but I can't because I don't have a full view of my frame. I don't know what I'm shooting. I can only see a part of my lens on the right side, and that's not very good. And because we're talking about the RVF, that means we have rangefinder style mirrorless, and that is a great thing. I would love Fujifilm to come up with more rangefinder style cameras, because for us old shooters, not necessarily old, but for people who have long beaks, and for me to shoot an EVF that it's on top of the lens, straight on the middle of the camera, my nose is always hitting the back screen and creates that oil marks, which are kind of ugly. And if you're using the touch autofocus, that will definitely change your autofocus point. It's a bit cumbersome, so I'm not using touch just because of that on my X-T3. That is unfortunate, because I would love to be able to move my focus point using the back screen, but because my nose is always touching and I'm able to change my autofocus without willing to do that, it's not good. So if you can come up with more rangefinder style, that will be amazing. Fujifilm, listen, because I heard a lot of people talking about this. Now, as final thoughts, I believe that we all appreciate film simulations on our cameras, and I do love mine. I'm shooting in Eterna, I'm shooting in Acros, I'm shooting in monochrome, I also shoot in classic chrome, and so on and so forth. It depends on the scene that you're shooting. I believe because of that, we will appreciate to be able to match our colors and simulations in editing, and having all those simulations in all cameras. So if the sensor permits, and if you can do that, please Fujifilm, come up with a firmware update and add all the simulations in all the cameras with the same sensor, and those that are able to be updated with those simulations. I know that I'm gonna be able to do that in post and just choose one of the Fujifilm simulations, but or just emulate one, but it is a little bit more work. And when you have that amazing feature, that ability to shoot in JPEG whatever colors, whatever beautiful simulations you want, why not having it on all cameras? I don't think that people are buying the X Pro 3 just for the new negative chrome or whatever it's called, or the X-T3 because it has the Eterna simulation. I think they're buying it because of the camera, because of the usability and the ergonomics and the knobs and the dials and the feel that you have. So why not just give us all the simulations in all cameras, basically depending on whatever sensor they have, because I know that Fujifilm used a bare sensor and an extra sensor in their cameras differently. So guys, this is pretty much it. This is all I wanted to tell you today. This is all the things that I think Fujifilm should improve. Other than that, I love my setup. I do love to shoot Fujifilm, and it's not a, you know, fanboy stuff. I do love it. I do love the feel. I do love the images that come out of it, the rendition, the sharpness, everything is great, but I think some improvements are in place. If you do believe so, please put your comments in the box down below and let me know what you think they should come up with in their next iterations. Also, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell to always be notified when I'm putting these kind of videos up. We're talking to photography and tech on this channel. Share these videos with your friends, so we'll be able to grow this community and make it bigger and stronger every day. And give these videos a thumbs up, please. It's super important. It will throw these videos up in ranking, and more people will gonna see them. And I will definitely see you in a bit.